Today's video is going to be all about fun things that are happening in the garden. It's like those little exciting things that you haven't seen yet that I'm interested in sharing with you, and I didn't want to wait for a full garden tour because they may or may not be here. Things change so quickly in the garden, as we know. So I have fresh blooms, interesting things that were completely unexpected for me. And so we're just gonna pop around the garden and look at those things and compile them into one spot. I also have the results of some experiments of things that I overwintered in the ground that I had never done before. And we're gonna check those out and see how those worked. Hi you guys, this is Nicole from My Carolina Garden. My garden is located in growing zone 8B and we are in southeastern North Carolina. So the first thing I want to show you is over here in the rock garden. Now the reason why we're jumping over to here is, first of all, I think maybe you had seen one of these open before, but now since they all are, I didn't want rain to take the flower petals away before you got to see them, or wind or anything like that. So this Asiatic lily, we are going to measure that tall guy standing up there. I have lots and lots of stems of it. We are talking 42 inches tall, 42 inches. The diameter of the flower petals, or the flower bloom itself, is 7 inches. It doesn't look like it's fully open right now, actually. Maybe because it's early morning. So we're talking about 42 inches in height. Now, I had shown this flower before, and somebody made a comment and said, "What kind of crazy daylily is that?" And I thought, I'm not sure if they were joking or being silly or funny. Not a daylily though. Asiatic lilies can put on some great height. And as I say all the time, one of the fun things about lilies is that you can divide them. So this guy was only one flower when I started with it. Now I have a lot more. And here's a piece I divided right here that hasn't even opened yet. So if you're looking for some dramatic height, very pretty blooms, maybe the Asiatic lily is for you. So if my Asiatic lilies are right there, directly in front of it, you haven't seen this yet either, because this is my first dahlia bloom of this year. So this dahlia is perennial for me here in zone 8B. Not all dahlias are going to be like that. They may or may not come back. I am right on the line. But this gorgeous baby has been a great performer for about 3 years already. Maybe this is the 4th year I've had it. So it's been amazing. But when we take a step back, look at what else we see. Do you see all of these blooms on my wisteria? Now my wisteria, I always say, this is not a wild variety. This is the Amethyst Falls, and I consider it to be an Easter bloomer. So each year it will bloom in April. It did that, it was glorious, and then it came back for a second flush. It surprised the heck out of me because it has never come back for a second flush before, not with this many blooms on each of the branches. Now they are not long and drapey like how like a bunch of grapes would be, the way that they were back in April. They're a little bit, I want to say, chunkier blooms, but yet very plentiful all over. So very unusual to get a second flush out of the Amethyst Falls wisteria. So one other thing that has popped into its glory is the salsa red sombrero echinacea. Now I've mentioned before, if you're going to get echinacea and maybe you haven't had great success with it before, perhaps the sombrero variety would be the one for you, because this is my most hardy and amazing one. It looks fabulous and it blooms for a very long period of time. None of my other coneflowers are actually blooming like this right now. I have a few pops of things that are coming out, but this is the one that looks the absolute best. Now, we're continuing on in the rock garden because here is the result of an experiment you might be interested in. I had planted in the ground that red cordyline, not red, the hot pink one, the hot pink magenta cordyline. Someone said, "Ooh, I think you can get it to overwinter in your ground in zone 8B. And so I said, all right, I'm gonna give it a shot and plant some up. Well, look, here it is coming back. So it does take a bit of time to get going again, but hey, That was a pretty awesome experiment. These are my other regular echinacea. I'm not sure even which ones these are going to be. They might be the Cheyenne Spirit. You can see they're all budded up, but they haven't opened up. So again, that's sombrero style. Maybe something you want to look into for your garden. So my parents had just been visiting, and the very nice thing is they support my plant habit, my plant addiction, and we actually trade plants. So with them, this visit, they brought some seedlings from Gomphrena, and actually their neighbor started these Gomphrena seedlings in her yard, and she shared them with my mom. My mom gave me a bunch of them. So I figured I would add some new color to the pathway that goes to the greenhouse, because you know, things are always in motion and always changing. So I figure later in the season, this area is going to look sweet. We're just gonna go take a peek into the secret garden. You can see I have certain things that are blooming, not with tons and tons of blooms on them, but like my hibiscus over here to start us off is going well. Another experiment that I had done was trying to save my caladium tubers. Now caladiums definitely are not perennial for me, or not meant to be, let's say that. So I had 6 or 8 of them here in the secret garden. I dug up half the tubers and I left half, and I attempted to overwinter the ones in the ground just by adding additional layers of mulch, and then some of these I had in pots inside the greenhouse. This is the only one that has come back as far as I can tell. This one was inside of a pot. I just saw the leaves begin to emerge the other day, so I put it right into the ground in the secret garden. But I'm trying to leave room around it because I would love it if some more of mine came back and I could kind of get them all going together. But for now, that caladium is the only one. I had some others right here in this area last year. I may have to go ahead and buy more because the style and color that they add to this garden is fabulous. And the other ones I had were down here. I see no evidence of any leaves popping up at all. So let's go check out the shade garden that isn't quite yet a shade garden, and the prettiest little shade garden you ever did see at that, which is not pretty yet at all. But I just want to show you the container update here. We have the Terrascape Queen Coleus, which is absolutely phenomenal. It looks large, it looks full, it's majestic in these pots right here. So once this area actually gets worked on, these guys are going to be an amazing entrance plant or entrance welcomer. And then of course, we have to do a little update on our window box here, largely made with the beautiful Coleus. It is looking absolutely outstanding. I couldn't be happier with the performance of everything in here. Okay, yeah, I have a little wimpy piece of creeping Jenny right here. Not a big deal at all. That could just be pulled right off. Some of the other creeping Jenny looks amazing. The ivy looks outstanding. It's just full. We have large draping pieces. And of course, our show plant is that Coleus. It's just looking so good and full. Now, you guys, imagine how we're gonna go looking from this beautiful shade garden into the secret garden. That's right, when I actually have time to start working on the shade garden, we are going to be able to walk out here and in either direction be like, ooh, beautiful things. But as I say all the time, a little by little, a little becomes a lot. That's the best I can do, is little by little get things done, get things planted, get things changing. I just simply don't have the time to put into a shade garden right now. Just popping quickly into this one shade area that's by my grill that I say don't ever want to put on camera, and then it's been on camera like 5 times this year. I just wanted to show you my astilbe that's back here. I do have some growth on it from last year that I hadn't clipped off, and then new fresh pink growth. But of course this is a shade loving plant, so this is my only main like real shade area. And of course my hostas are just tremendous. So we're outside in one of my flower beds. This was something I planted up back in early March. This is the Kilmarnock willow. I just wanted to show you that the brand new little pussy willows are emerging again. I had no idea this would happen for a second time this year. We started out in March with this tree full of willows, and then they kind of just fell off. And I thought, okay, we're just having foliage for the rest of the year, but it turns out no. So here's the other thing I just wanted to point out. We have regal geraniums on either side of the willow tree. They are still going pretty strong. So as long as you keep those babies deadheaded, you can continue to get new blooms on them. So they were not just made to be cold weather blooming geraniums. Let us take a walk right up my pathway to my front porch. I have so many pretty things and a lot of pink happening on each side, which was actually unintentional, but I adore it for this year. So here is the thing that is interesting and fun that I want to show you. Right up in the front, as we get closer to the door, I had told you that I had this volunteer tomato plant that I just figured a bird had dropped a seed for, and Mother Nature thought I needed to have this tomato plant in my life. So I'm gonna leave it here. I have a tomato already, which is so adorable. And it is weird. I understand it is weird to have it right next to my front door like that. But again, if it doesn't get in the way of anything, I figure no harm, no foul. Let's leave that baby there. And then we'll just get a little closer here on my planters that have the caladiums in them. They're looking gorgeous. You cannot go wrong with these beautiful leaves. They, with the like kind of waxy, shiny finish on them, are looking stunning. I have a beautiful, colorful coleus that's kind of tucked in there right now, but he's peeking out and he looks cute. The creeping Jenny looks nice and full. Everything just looks super good right here. The red cannas are great. The lantana has put on a lot of size just in the last week or so even, really. But here's where we're gonna pop in, you guys. Last time we showed this area for my, I guess, May garden tour. We were looking at the mums. These are the Vita mums. Again, I think they're super cool. I like the bloom style of these because they almost look like they're a starburst instead of just like a round standard mum. But you see how I have these blooming here? We're gonna pop over my double scoop echinacea and see more of my mums blooming there. Someone was just joking with me. They said they were like laughing so hard that I have all these mums that are blooming. And yes, they come back and bloom for a second time in the fall. So I don't know if that is super unusual or if you all experience the same thing, but all the mums in my yard are all blooming right now and will come back again. I guess it'll be October time frame. So just looking into the peninsula garden, and yes, my daylilies are all closed up right now because it's early morning. But look, here's the other set of mums that I talk about, being the little rays of sunshine. I don't know exactly what kind these are, but I had planted them up in the fall. They look gorgeous right now. My balloon flowers would need some deadheading, not a big deal at all, but the purple looks so pretty from the road and everything. Oh, the yellow primrose is still looking good. I have more cone flowers that just continue to pop up throughout. I love cone flowers. More of the sunshiny, beautiful mums, and yet there is a third right by my little frog. Just a different angle of the mums and everything coming this way. Oh my gosh. I have a lot of color right here and so many different textures. I am in love with this garden. And then this is one of my perennial hibiscus, and we have lots of buds on here. I had Japanese beetles everywhere, so you can see some damage on some of the foliage, but we're doing the best we can. In one of my recent garden tours, we were on the back side of the peninsula garden, and I showed a little something that was popping up out of the ground, and I said I didn't know what it was, but it seemed like it was intentional just because of where it was planted right here. You know what I realized it is? I think that's going to be a pumpkin, because I had a pumpkin sitting over here in the fall, and yes, it started to rot, and I think this is all little pumpkin seed sprouts. So it's just hilarious to me because it doesn't always take intention to get fun little things to show up in the garden. As we head out to the Island of Misfit Toys, you'd almost think that I put like some massive fertilizer or some sort of drugs for my plants out in the soil, because everything is just taking off, I feel like, very suddenly. So I just kind of wanted to show the amazing growth. Ooh, my Joe Pie weed has one little bud on it. I was saying previously, I didn't know how well it was doing. I had gotten that from my in-laws before. But anyway, back to the amazing growth out here. Oh, look at these hostas are doing amazingly. So they all have their flowers. These are the only hostas that I have right now that actually are all flowering. And then behind them, look at how amazing that coreopsis is. It's like, holy cow, what the heck happened out here? It looks stunning. So between my hostas there, I have some daylilies that I had separated and put out here before. I'm not even sure which color those are going to bloom. But that coreopsis, holy cow, that looks amazing. And the canna lilies just look strong and proud. So I feel like we tackled our problem with our bugs, the leaf rollers that were destroying the cannas. In this direction real quick, we have some blanket flowers that are blooming. These are going to be black-eyed Susans down here, so we'll have some more color coming up in the near future. But I just wanted to show you my cute little yellow grasses, Liriope or Liriope. I do have to do some weeding around them, but they just look so fun and fuzzy and adorable. And maybe this agave is finally taking off, like it's finally establishing, because that new growth looks pretty good. So I don't mind just cutting off the stuff that's not so great, but all that's in the center looks pretty good. The new plantings that I put in, this gomphrena here with the speedwell there, looking pretty good. And I have these really deep red daylilies that are beginning to open up right here. The colors looking pretty good in here. My Denver Daisy Rudbeckia, I gotta clip off one of those heads, but besides that, it's looking pretty good. Yeah, really happy with the color and texture out here. I revealed to you my new favorite plant, that is the purple Mandevilla or Diplodenia, actually, because here's the interesting thing. This was in my secret garden tour and I showed you, oh my gosh, I was so excited to have these in my life. Well, here's the deal. The nursery in Leland where my friend picked me up one of these plants, it literally says it's a Diplodenia bush. And then the ones that I purchased from Lowe's say that they're a Mandevilla. So Mandevilla on this one from Lowe's, it looks like it's standing upright. I don't see any vining coming out of it yet, like it wants to attach to something right now. And yet this Diplodenia looks identical. And the interesting thing about both of these plants, yes, they are always supposed to be similar, like the flowers are identical really, But the mandevilla is supposed to be more of a viner, someone that wants to climb, and the diplodenia is more of a bush. So it's really their growing habits are supposed to be different, but I can't tell what's different about these, if anything, honestly. So I would say if you want to try to have them climb, do it. If you want to try to have them bush out for you, do that. So this is going to be one of the fun things I have in a video upcoming. I'm going to figure out where to put these guys into my landscape so I can start enjoying that purple and really getting them to get a lot bigger. So for now, we're going to end in my poolside garden next to my very first yellow canna from one of my friends that has the orange speckles. So I made a trade for the yellow because I have only orange. And also next to my Tahiti Sunrise dahlias. So I am getting a lot of dahlia blooms over here, which has been just absolutely fabulous. So the color has been amazing. I mean, I just wanted to share these delights with you, like I said, because I don't know how long everything is going to last, especially as these raindrops continue to fall. Things kind of get washed away a little, but we'll be back for a full-on garden tour to keep showing the continual changes. But at least this maybe can show you some of the things that you can enjoy in your own garden and say, yeah, all right, that's something I definitely want to try. Also, I feel like it's important to share the experiments and how those things are going, just so we know maybe we can get things to survive in our ground and overwinter that we weren't expecting otherwise. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope there was just a bit of inspiration in here for you. And until next time, you guys, happy planting.